Okay, so I thought that this workflow is complicated enough for me to make a recording. Okay, so this recording is going to talk about how to create 360 in After Effects and all the complication that can come with it. Okay, so what's important to know, just to simplify things, is that when you create 3D in After Effects, that's that's a regular 3D scene that can be imported into your 360. So if you already have a 3D scene in After Effects, or you create one the regular way that you want to create, like an HD flat, and set the layers in 3D, and that you can take that and put it in 360. Okay, but once you place it in 360, it's important to know how it behaves, okay, and what to watch out for. Okay, so now what I want to do is not create a 360 from an original 3D scene in After Effects, but to create my own, just to show you how it looks and how it's built, and maybe things can start to make sense. Okay, so the first thing that I asked you to do is, when you create the 360 structure, okay, you have to create a composition which is a high pixel 2 by 1 proportion, so you can work with it using After Effects special rig for 360. Okay, so this rig is available in the VR competitor. You can find it under window. You will have VR competitor. You have to make sure that your project settings are set to use the graphics card. Okay, so you should see here CUDA or OpenGL or Metal. You should choose CUDA. If not, Metal or OpenCL, that's fine. Okay, so you create a new composition. This is the dimensions that I want you to choose. I created a preset, so I have it here. So these are the dimensions: 5760, 2880 square pixel, 30 frames per second, and 30 seconds. I think that's the minimum for you to work with. I'm going to give it a name, and that name is going to follow me along. So I need to find a good name and press OK. Okay, so now I created a blank canvas. I need to use this with the rig, with the control system of a 360. I have to build it. So I'll choose Add 3D Edit, and I can choose My Animation. You can leave it like this and add 3D Edit. So now After Effects created all this structure. Okay, and I'm going to show you what this structure does. Okay, but first it took the composition and placed it inside. I don't need this composition. This was just to create this rig, because I'm going to create things right in here. So I can delete this. Okay, right click, reveal in project, and just delete the composition. So now I can start creating. I can just take a layer and check it for 3D. Okay, and you can see I have a camera here. Okay, and as soon as I start to move the camera, something goes wrong. Okay, so what's happening? Let's open another view, two views, and you can see this camera. Now this camera, it's a special kind of camera. Okay, it's a camera that's connected all through this special composition structure to go back all the way to the master composition. Okay, so if I want to go to the master composition, the output composition, I click here. If I want to go to the edit, okay, I click here. So this camera, let me show you. Okay, if I click twice, I can see it has a very high angle of view. Okay, field of view 120. Okay, and also you can see that the point of interest of the camera is right where the camera is. Let me show you. If I open the camera transform, you can see a point of interest and position. Now what does that mean? A point of interest is where the camera is looking. Now I shouldn't be messing with this. Okay, I should leave it in the same place where the position is. Okay, I can copy the position, paste it to the point of interest. Now because they are in the same place, see what happens if I move the position in the timeline. It's always pointing to the point of interest. Okay, so a way to move the camera and not have it point towards the point of interest is to just move it in the composition window. Okay, so if you want to move your camera, and you don't necessarily move your camera in 360, okay, if you do, you're basically doing some these kind of movements, okay, so you don't usually move it so much, okay, but if you want to move it, okay, you can do this in the composition window, but using the top view or maybe the left view, okay, and you can move your camera. Now, it's best even to not do this and to avoid this completely by a simple thing, okay? I'm gonna reset the position, and I'm going to take the position and copy it to the point of interest to reset the camera, okay? So what you should do is create a rig for you to control the camera, okay? So if you remember, when we add 3D Edit, it was this thing, use 3D null camera control. So if you pick this, okay, when you create a camera, you will have a way to control the camera easily, okay? You can also do this after the fact. Right click, camera, create orbit null. So you can see now there's a null 3D and the camera is parent to that null. So if you want to control the camera, you do this in the timeline, but you do this with the null, and the null moves the point of interest and the position together. So what I recommend is, if you add a 3D edit, always use a 3D null camera control, and then you will already have this. And if you want to control the camera, only do this with the camera null, okay? If you want to look around your scene, the easiest way is to take the camera tool, the unified camera tool, and use the shortcut and use the mouse, and just you can left click and you can move around, okay? Another way, if I type C one more time, then I'm with the orbit tool, okay, and I can move around, okay? So the unified camera tool is all these tools together with shortcuts, or you can just choose the orbit camera tool and move around, okay? So now I'm moving, I'm seeing all around my scene, I'm orienting around my scene. Let me see this in the top view so you can see what's going on, okay? So I'm doing this. Now this movement doesn't register to the final composition, okay? And it's supposed to be this way because it's an easy way for you to look around without deciding that this is the first thing you see, okay? Okay, because when you reset the orientation, that's the way After Effects is going to get the scene when you see the output. Let me show you. If I orient this, okay, and I go back to output, you can see nothing changes here, okay? Because orientation doesn't transfer. Position does, but orientation doesn't transfer. Orientation and rotation don't go all the way to the master composition. They do this if I choose reorient. So now if I go to open output, you can see now what the viewer will see is this view, okay? So if I uncheck this, okay, and if I want, I can just reset it here and see what my viewer sees, okay? So this is the basic explanation how to use a camera, okay, in a 360 environment, okay, to understand that you should have a null if you want to control the camera through the timeline, and basically you should have a null no matter what, because it's easier for you to control this way. And you can also move the camera like this, okay? I'm moving the null right now, okay? I'm moving the null, okay? So just make sure that you are moving the null and not the camera, okay? For you, find it easier to control. So if you want to view your scene, you can open another window. This is the top view. If I want to push back, I can take the unified camera tool and just, if I right click and press, I can go back and see my whole scene, and I can set up my scene like I have one layer here, and maybe I get another one and maybe move it like this, rotate it like that. Okay, so now I'm having this type of thing. Okay, I can add a floor, I can add whatever I want. Okay, and everything pushes back to my output. and this is what I should render. Okay, so this is the basic thing to know about working with VR camera. Now let me just show you what happens if I go back a few compositions. Okay, I'm gonna open it to two views and just take this layer. I just want to create some stuff here. Okay, so it will be easier to understand what's going on. Okay, I'm just going to create a few layers. Okay, make them maybe different colors. Okay, so it'll be easier to follow along. Okay, so this is what I created. Okay, let's add another one. And rotate it like this. So this will be maybe at the bottom, like this. Okay, so let me show you how this structure is built. I'm going to go back one composition and you can see already I have 6 cameras. Okay, so this is just one of these cameras. If I go back, you can see After Effects creates this kind of grid of cameras, and then it takes this grid of cameras and converts it to a panoramic equirectangular projection. Okay, so this is what eventually gets rendered. Okay, it has a few steps in the middle, but this is how everything is getting rendered in the end. So you just have to make sure that you work and you navigate through this structure. Okay, so this is how you can create a scene from scratch. Okay, and if you want to add your own scene, you can do this. Okay, let me just add a 360 scene, like from here. Okay, so you can create your 360, you can create your 3D scene as usual. Okay, this is just a regular scene. Okay, and I can just take all these layers with the camera. I can take with the camera, copy, go to the edit. Okay, I can just delete all the layers. I'm gonna reset my camera's orientation just to make sure point of interest and position are the same, and I'm going to paste. Okay, so now I have 2 cameras. Now After Effects always renders the topmost camera. If I want my camera to go to the original camera, okay, I can just parent the camera, the VR camera, to the original camera, pressing Shift, and now it will go all the way to where my original camera was. Let me show you again. This is the original camera. This is the VR camera. I want it to go all the way here. Shift and parent, and now it goes all the way to the original camera. I can delete the original camera. Now I want to take this camera forward. Okay, I will create a rig for this camera, create orbit null, and now I can move the camera forward. Okay, so now I'm watching the scene in the same sort of in the same view that the original camera was. It's going to be a little different because it's a different field of view. There's much more perspective. Okay, so now I can just move around the scene, add more stuff. If things are getting slow, change the resolution to quarter, so it will find much easier for you. Maybe you need to add more floor or whatever. If I go to the output, okay, so you know that if someone is watching the scene, the first thing he's going to see is this. Okay, if I want to look in a different direction, let me just take this house, just duplicate it and move it to the side. Okay, let's say I want for the viewer to see a different thing. I can just take my null and change it to this. So now this is the first thing the viewer will see. This is going to be in the center. Okay, so this is how you're supposed to work with the VR camera. Okay, I hope this made things much easier to understand. If you have any questions, please email me. This is not an easy workflow, but this is how it's supposed to work. Okay, After Effects is not a 3D software, and because it's not a 3D software, you just can't take a camera and tell it to be a spherical 360 camera. You have to create this rig, okay? But the thing you get is you can work with 2D elements. You can plant 2D elements in After Effects, and you can create amazing things in After Effects in 360. Okay, so if you have any questions, please email me, and good luck.